Recovering from Special Education from Growing Without Schooling 31 by Christine Mayhado in Southern California. We have 3 children, ages 11, 9, and 6. We took our 2 older children out of public school 1.5 years ago, after much struggling and dissatisfaction on our part and unhappiness on theirs. Our oldest boy, Jamie, had been labeled hyperactive. They advised us to put him on medication and into a special class. Well, we did the special class, but not the drugs. Each year, he and his brother Andy would fall farther and farther behind in reading. This was creating a very negative situation for them. In the meantime, my youngest child, Emily, had started a marvelous little school near our home that's based on your philosophy and that of Joseph Chilton Pierce and A.S. Neal of Summerhill. She was doing fine and was wonderfully happy. Her 2 older brothers were developing a real curiosity about what was going on at this interesting school. So, with much enthusiasm, they started going there after school 2 days a week. It became a safe place for them to vent a lot of angry feelings. Creative things happened as well, and many nice, humane relationships were formed. Then one day, while browsing in the local library, I happened on the book And the Children Played by Patricia Jowdry. I immediately fell in love with the author, her philosophy, and whole way of life. I wanted that for us. I remember the turning point. I was sitting on our front porch one warm November Sunday afternoon reading this book, laughing, crying, and intermittently reading parts to my husband Jim, when the 3 children all trooped out and announced that they wanted to cook. I looked at Jim, he looked at me, and we said sure. Amidst flour, butter, and honey on the floor, I made dinner that night with a feeling of warmth and new freedom in my heart. After Christmas, with lots of reservations and excitement, we took them out of public school. We decided they would attend the private school for 2 or 3 days a week, and the rest of the time they would be home. They loved it and very quickly fell into the routine. Jamie has spent hours repairing bikes, had a job at a bike shop for a while. This year he built a beautiful bike for himself from scratch. He likes reading classified ads in the newspaper, bike magazines, and Mad magazine, though sometimes I suspect he mostly looks at pictures. Both boys like building things and have made duck and fish ponds, forts, lofts, animal cages. Andy spent a lot of last year cooking and cooks many things, from cookies to pizza, even a whole dinner for us at times. He also likes stained glass, music, aerobics, and several times last year spent days working in a math workbook. They are interested and enthusiastic about many things and are always busy. Jamie reads and writes very little. Andy reads not at all. He sometimes recognizes words and other times can't remember the sounds of letters. I often get very scared that they lack so much self-confidence in that area and that they have so many negative feelings they may just grow up never learning to read or write. It's hard to face our friends and family when they hear about our homeschooling and say, "But look at your children, they don't even read yet." They even sometimes ask our children if they can read. The children look down with long faces and reply, "No, I can't." It really hurts me when I see them feel ashamed of themselves. I love homeschooling and can't count all the good things that have come from it. I see no other way. This is the best. Our little school here, all the other pupils are homeschoolers too, is great for breaking the isolation of homeschooling and getting together and sharing with other people, though it is, like you say, John, a lot of extra work. Every day I count my blessings that I can give my children this kind of freedom, and I'm feeling better and stronger and more relaxed about everything. How should I handle this? If I just completely leave them alone, which is what I want to do, with their negative feelings, will they eventually teach themselves to read on their own? My newest idea was to make a journal for them to keep and require that they write something in it once a week with pictures, stories, poems, mainly for the purpose of allowing the feelings to come up and work through them, not necessarily that they actually write. Another idea was to have my husband and me play school with them in the evening sometimes, Jim and me being the pupils and the children being the teachers. I can imagine now all kinds of orders and reprimands going on. I truly believe that once these feelings are out, they will feel so much freer and better about themselves and will reclaim that natural curiosity and true desire for learning that was theirs before they went to school. I must say that my 6-year-old Emily is thoroughly in love with life. She is constantly busy, plays great imaginary detailed games with her friends. She begged to go to kindergarten this year. Well, freedom is freedom, so we let her go. After 1 month, she still won't miss a day. She really likes doing homework and so on. I will keep close tabs on what is happening there, and we'll let her leave as soon as she even hints about it. I'm so afraid this natural enthusiasm of hers could be ruined all too easily. John Holt wrote in reply, "Thanks so much for your good letter. I'm so glad the boys are recovering from their experience of schooling and special education. Considering how big a dose they got, they seem to be doing very well. About their reading, you say they may just grow up and never learn to read to write, or write. There is about as much chance of that happening as they will grow up to be crocodiles. If you must worry, worry about something else. You say Jamie reads and writes very little. You later say that when people ask the boys if they can read, they look down with long faces and say they can't. Why do they say that? It's not true. Don't let them say it anymore. Maybe they can't read very much, maybe they don't read very often, but if they can read something, even if only a few words, then they can read. So don't let them say they can't. Don't even let them think it. As for your friends and family, ask them or tell them please to stop asking that question, which only makes things worse. More to the point, tell them that the boys' reading is none of their business. Above all, don't let the boys feel ashamed of themselves. Even if it were true, and it isn't, that they couldn't read a single word, it would be nothing to be ashamed of. Reading is a useful skill as well as a source of much information and pleasure, and not being able to do it can be a nuisance. But it is not a crime. Reading has nothing to do with intelligence or competence, and I have heard quite a few highly successful and even wealthy people in this country who cannot read at all. There is no reason for shame. Make sure the boys understand that. As I say, not being able to read is an inconvenience and a nuisance, like having a broken leg or being sick. But also, once people get over the idea that reading is terribly difficult or that they are too stupid to do it, neither of which is true, and once they decide that for their own reasons they really want to read, they can do it in a very short time, often only a few months or less. I, myself, personally saw adult illiterates, in their 40s and 50s learning the essential skills of reading in only a few weeks. You can say to the boys, you don't have to read unless and until you want to, and anytime you really want to, you can do it easily. You can add, the only reason you think that perhaps you can't learn to read is because all those people in school told you so, but they have been proved wrong thousands of times. One way of showing Andy how many words he does in fact know how to read might be to offer him a small payment, say 25 cents, for every word he can read to you. Keep an alphabetical card file of these words. You and he will soon find that he can read many more words than you or he thought. You say, if I just completely leave them alone with their negative feelings, will they eventually teach themselves to read on their own? You don't leave them completely alone in anything else, so why should you in this? It's their negative feelings that you have to try to deal with. Once they stop feeling ashamed or thinking that even if they did try to read, they wouldn't be able to, their natural intelligence and curiosity will do the rest. As far as help goes, it will be enough to say, anytime you want me to tell you what a word says, ask me and I'll tell you. And anytime you want me to write a word for you, ask me and I'll do that. That will almost certainly do the trick. Though, if you can't afford it, it would probably help if you bought them some kind of typewriter. They will almost certainly like it and will want to learn to use it. Please, let me know what you think and feel about this letter, and if you discuss it with the boys, what they say about it. And after a few months, please write again and let us know how things are coming along. And please try to worry less. Good luck to you all.